Welcome guys to the Meet Damien live stream. Today's live stream we're going to be taking a look at the price of Bitcoin and the price of some other cryptocurrencies that you guys want me to take a look at. But we are also going to try to do some live trading if we can, just for some fun here, try to make some money maybe, and see what kind of cryptocurrencies I can get involved here for some day trades here. But right now we're looking at the price of Bitcoin currently trading at $90,409. We had a pretty interesting weekend where Bitcoin did drop down to like $87,000. I actually was able to catch a long yesterday, where I didn't think the price of Bitcoin was going to actually fill me at that long, because I saw a spot price, at least here on Coinbase, drop down to like 87,700, and I had my my spot bag. I'm sorry, I had my future order at like 87,420. Because I did identify that 87,000 was a key area to look for Bitcoin. But I just thought like I missed a trade and I didn't get filled. But I actually did get filled yesterday. Let me show you here on the VRVP indicator. 87,000 on the VRVP indicator. This is the green and red indicator to the right. Is a high volume level here that we need to be looking out for. And I was expecting to get some support there from Bitcoin. That's why I went long on Bitcoin if I could at that area. And then I had my take profit set at like 92K. We actually went up to like 91,700 yesterday, and I decided to close out the trade at 91,300 or 400, somewhere around there. Let me show if I can quickly show you here. I did this on Coinbase Exchange. Let me see if I can quickly pull this up here. Okay. What happened? I just lost my oh man, I got to sign in the Coinbase here. But yeah, okay, thank you Coinbase. But yeah, you can see here on the positions, let me see, go into the Bitcoin perpetual contracts here. I put in that I wanted like 5 contracts here on Bitcoin, and I got filled at like $87,420 here. Okay, and I had my take profit at 92,000 and my stop loss at 87,000, and I was able to get filled at that order. And then I sold those contracts here yesterday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, at like 91,340. So I was able to make a quick profit there, almost like a couple $100 there on the trade, and it was good. It was good because I actually thought, I was actually discouraged and disappointed that I did not get filled on that trade there. Let me see if I can just show you the chart here real quick here. But yesterday the spot price did not go down to like 87,420, but here on Coinbase futures, the price was a little bit different on Coinbase futures, where we saw the price drop down to like 87,365. Okay, so I was able to get filled. I didn't know last morning. I was like all like discouraged and disappointed, and then I went to go check my Coinbase account, and I was like, wait, what? I'm up 190 bucks here on this trade. And we were at like trading around like 91,300, and I was like, okay, let me get out of the trade now, because that was unexpected, and it had a nice little bounce there to higher prices. So that was a little pleasant surprise there on Coinbase. I wanted to share with you guys there. Okay, but yeah, let's see. Let's get back into the charts here. We do see that Bitcoin is trading at 90,300. This is okay, I guess, for Bitcoin to be above 90K. It's definitely a psychological number that most people like to see Bitcoin stay at or stay above. It's also right over here, this 21 EMA, this white line is a line that I want us to stay above. We've been trying to stay above it. We kind of lost it here on Friday, which was like, oh my god, it was not good to see. Okay, and then Saturday we were flirting with staying below it, and then Sunday we caught the bids here, and then Monday we're catching the bids. But right now here on the daily time frame, this candle here, we are indecision. We're getting an indecision candle here, and this is just weak sauce. We want to see some more follow through with Bitcoin going up to higher prices, and I want to see Bitcoin get above this blue line here at 91K. Like, I want to see Bitcoin stay above 91,400 here And if we can, then, you know, it gets a little bit easier for us to go to higher prices where there's not that much resistance until you get up to like $94,000 Bitcoin, or even like 95. We're gonna probably see some resistance. If you're in a long or trying to long Bitcoin and crypto for the day trades, I would definitely take profit at like 94, 95K if we ever do see that. But we haven't seen that. Like we've seen 94K, but we haven't seen 95, 96K, and we haven't seen that since like back here on November 15th. Okay, where we were kind of going sideways trading there. If I zoom out some more, you'll see that 95, 96K is a very crucial level for us to stay at, because there is a point of control. This blue line shows that there's a big high volume node there at 95, 96K. So I think that's going to be the ceiling for us to hit. If we do go up to higher prices, 95, 96K is going to be tough for us to crack. And then after that, you know, we'll see if we can get up to like 101, 102K, because there's a little bit of high volume there. And then, of course, there's more volume here at 103 to 105K. Those are the areas to look for if we ever get back up to those levels here for Bitcoin. Well, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat here. We got Deepak here saying hello. Hello to you, Deepak. And let me check up on my chat here on TikTok, see what you guys are saying. Thank you, Mario, for liking the live here. And let's see. Laura says that Ethereum is going to 2366. That's interesting. And then Gun to Reef is saying 96K with a question mark. Yeah, 96K. I mean, it's only what? Like 5 or 10%, less than 10% away. Bitcoin can do that. I don't know why you seem like you're in disbelief. I mean, if we go down to lower prices, I understand it'd be a little bit more, you know, disbelievable. But with us being at 90K, that's only what? Let's see. If we go to 96K, it's probably a 5-6% move. Bitcoin can do that easily in one day if it wanted to. Okay, so 5-6% move up to the upside, I think that's possible. Yeah, for Bitcoin. I see that we got Lorene in the chat. Uh-oh, I'm about to get spammed with the likes here. Thank you, Lorene, for coming in the chat here. Good to see you. Take a look at the price of Bitcoin. Trying to see if there's any good trades to get into for the scalp trade today. I kind of showed my, you know, what I did yesterday here on on the Bitcoin long that I didn't even think I was going to get filled at. I literally bought the lows for the day yesterday. Let's see if I can pull up here real quick. But yeah, I was able to make, you know, about $194 there on that Bitcoin long that I got into. And of course, I posted that up here on the whatchamacallit, on the Meet Damien Discord, where you guys saw that I was not expecting to get filled at that trade, but I did. You know, 5 contracts on Coinbase Exchange. And then of course Lorene was asking me, Damien, did you take profit? She said, hope Damien has taken his profits. And I said, yep, yes I did. I did. I took a screenshot and immediately closed that trade, because I just don't know if how long that trade was going to play out. Like we already came close to my take profit at 92K. I know for Bitcoin to continue going further, you know, there's some resistance at like 94K and 96K. So, and thank God I took those profits, because like now we're back at 90K again. I could actually try and go long on Bitcoin if I want to. Let's try to see if Bitcoin's worth getting into a long right now, or maybe a short. We shall see. But let's look at the oscillators here real quick. On the daily time frame, here on the MACD, we see that there is some buying pressure here. It's kind of dying down. It's been dying down the last few days, so it's not as strong and vigorous as we saw, you know, about a couple of weeks ago here. But you know, as long as there's buying pressure, we should still see money going into Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin going up to higher prices here. Here on Market Cipher B, we do have a green buy dot that came in on Sunday, and the momentum wave is going up. So I was telling some people in the Discord here that I think Bitcoin and crypto wants to go up to higher prices this week. So I think getting into a long might be worth it here on crypto and Bitcoin, but we'll go into some smaller time frames to see if that's the case here. But on the daily time frame, I'm liking what I'm seeing. You know, we're making higher lows here on the momentum wave and getting those green buy dots in, and then also we got the green money flow showing that money is going into Bitcoin right now. All right, let's go into the 4-hour time frame, see if it still kind of agrees with all that. 4-hour time frame, there is some green on the money flow, so that the money flow gives you the trend that the price should be going up. But we did get a red sell dot here on the 4-hour time frame, saying that around this morning there was some selling pressure here for Bitcoin. Okay, and the red dot and the green dot, it's just showing the ebbs and flows of the price of the asset. Because we did have a green dot here Sunday morning, and we all saw Bitcoin go from like 87K to like 91K in a few short hours. Okay, with this red dot here, there might be some more selling later on this afternoon. But with the red dots, like you could get a green dot right after the red dot. Okay, at least on the 4-hour time frame here. So this red dot could just disappear if the price just continues climbing up. So we shall see. We shall see how that all plays out here. But this is just on the 4-hour time frame. It's just saying, just be careful, because we don't have too much confirmation that the price will go up. Okay. Right now, this is kind of like telling you that price might go down. Okay, on the 4-hour time frame. And then here on the MACD, we do see that the buying pressure is dying down. So yeah, maybe later on today or this afternoon, the price might be a little bit muted. It might be kind of lackluster on Bitcoin. And if that's the case, if we're not really sure what Bitcoin's going to do next, then maybe there might be another altcoin that's showing some promising some promising potential to go up to higher prices or down to lower prices, and we could try to trade something else besides Bitcoin here. But to me, this is looking like Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame is trying to tell us that it might go sideways. All right, and we kind of been going sideways ever since Tuesday of last week, where Bitcoin was like trading at 90K, 93K for a few days there, and then it dropped down on Friday to like 88K. But then once it dropped down to 88K, we kind of hanged out at like 88K all throughout Saturday, and then dropped a little bit more on Sunday to 87K, but then we came right back up. So I think there could be some more sideways trading action just based on what the 4-hour time frame is showing us here on Bitcoin. Let's get into the 1-hour time frame, see what the 1-hour time frame is showing. Here in the MACD, we have seen selling pressure come in earlier this morning, where Bitcoin dropped down to like 88K, somewhere in that area. And now we're seeing selling pressure kind of dying down this afternoon. So this is like a little bit confusing. This is showing me that Bitcoin kind of wants to climb up this afternoon here. Okay. We did get the MACD cross with the blue line cross below the orange line, so that's showing that's confirming that selling and shorts might be the way to go for Bitcoin here. But if this blue line starts curving back up, and we get a MACD cross where the blue line crosses above the orange line, kind of like we did over here, then it might be worth getting into a long here on Bitcoin, according to the MACD. But we don't have that yet, so I know right now Bitcoin is climbing up, but this might be creating a lower high here on the 1-hour time frame, where we might get rejected off of these moving averages here on the 1-hour time frame and go down to lower prices. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. But I think Bitcoin might be range bound between like $89,000 and like $91,000, somewhere in this area, where we're just not going to get any clear direction. And that's kind of, to be expected right before a Federal Reserve meeting. We have the Federal Reserve meeting tomorrow. but they're not going to give us a decision. It's like a 2-day meeting, and they'll give us a decision about interest rates on Wednesday. And I think you'll definitely see the volatility on Wednesday for sure. But in the meantime, there might be some traders who are just not trading right now because they're not sure what's going to happen with Wednesday. And I think that's what's showing up here on the charts here with Bitcoin going sideways for now. Professor's asking me, do I think Bitcoin will go down to 87K tonight? It might. It might. I mean, we're trying to figure that out right now by looking at the charts here. Harvey Ellis is saying, not sure if we're going to fill the CME gap. What CME gap are you referring to? And then Lorraine wants me to take a look at Tesla on the charts here. Lorraine, I was trying to see if I can get into a trade here. I want to see if I can trade one of these cryptos. Lorraine, are you trading any cryptos right now? Are you in any day trades? Just curious. Let me go ahead and write down Tesla as one of your requests here. Let me just do a quick volume check here. Make sure things are working properly. Alright, yep, I can hear myself. Arish is saying what to buy now. Arish, you know, when it comes to like day trading, I like setting up traps. I like waiting for price to come to where I think it's gonna go, and then either enter a long or a short based on, you know, what I think the game plan might be, the trading plan might be. I hate waking up every day and looking at the charts and saying, oh, should I go long or short? Because, I mean, that's like kind of like your scalp trading, and you can do scalp trades, but I feel like the trades with the higher winning percentages are the ones where we figure out where the key levels are at, and we place our longs and shorts accordingly, okay? So let me just zoom out here on Bitcoin, and I'm going to put the VRVP indicator. That's going to show us what the range should be for Bitcoin, at least on the 1 hour time frame. And on the lows, we have a value area low right below us, this white line sitting at 87K. 87K should be where you should be trying to long Bitcoin if you're trying to do a day trade on Bitcoin, right? I highlighted 87,420 over here because not only is that just funny to see 420 over there, but it's also another high volume node here at 87,420, okay? That's why I was able to get filled, luckily, on Coinbase Exchange for that long yesterday, and I was able to benefit from that. That's the kind of trades I look for. I want to look for longs basically at the bottom of this range here, the bottom of this value area, right where the value area low is at. We can see above us we have a point of control, and the point of control is a good take profit target for your longs if you're able to get Bitcoin at 87K. And you should be thinking about selling at $91,000, and you're really pushing your luck here for when Bitcoin goes up to like 93K or even 94K, because that's where the value area high is sitting at least on this 1 hour time frame here. So I would be looking for taking profit at 93K for sure, or taking profit at 93, 94K, and then I'd be looking for shorts at 93, 94K, and then seeing if we can take that down to, like, you know, the point of control, right? Take profit on the short, and then take more profit if it does drop down to like 87K all over again here. Okay, so that's how I like to game plan my day trades here. And you're asking long or short, we're kind of like in no man's territory. We're in like a no trade zone, to be honest with you, because we're actually right below resistance above us. So if we were to long, we're not going to really get that much, because we'll probably go up to like a 91K before getting rejected again. And entering a short, I mean, you could enter a short, but you know, how far down could it go? You could come down to like 87K maybe, and that's probably a little bit better than going long right now. But then where would you put your stop loss on the short, right? Probably above the highs for today, where we got up to like 92,200. But much better to be trying to take a short at like 92 or 93 or 94K than it is to be taking a short at 90K. Alright. Right now, you could get stopped out of your short, especially if you put your stop loss tight, about like $500 or $1,000 above the current price of Bitcoin. it could come in, stop you out, and then still go down and play out to the downside. So that's why it's kind of like, it's tough. We're in a tough zone. We're in like no man's territory. We're in like a no trade. I wouldn't really be taking a trade right now on Bitcoin. I think there might be some better assets out there to be trading besides Bitcoin right now. Okay, that's just my opinion though. Professor says BitUnex is on the Play and App Store. Okay. Osh is asking me, do futures or spot trading, bro? Yeah, I am trying to figure out what trade I want to get into. I do have Lorraine's request for Tesla, but I want to see if there's something else that we could trade here. I saw some movement here with Zcash. Let's take a look at what Zcash is doing here. Zcash is up about 18% today, 18.5%. Currently trading at $405. And let me just zoom out to the daily time frame so we can get some more data from the VRVP indicator here. And I'll just zoom into like what we've been doing since like October. And this is what I have for the VRVP indicator for Zcash. Zcash was, you know, undervalued or near the value area low at about 305 around Tuesday of last week. That was a good area to start looking for longs here on Zcash. We do have now a point of control of this blue line. This point of control is sitting at 343. A good majority of people have bought Zcash at that area, so that's a good support zone. And Zcash could march its way up to higher prices here, where we could see Zcash come up to right over here about 460. I think is a good area where you could take profit on your Zcash long. And then of course over here at $500, there's even more resistance at $500. So Zcash might go from $400 to $500 in the next few days, next few weeks here. Okay. And if it was to do that, right, just going from where we are at 400 to like 500, that's about a 23% gain. So Zcash should go up like another 20% here, in my opinion. If it's gonna create this higher low and go up and become bullish again, I think 500 is the area to look for Zcash on a long. But I don't like buying green candles like this. This would be great if I was already in a Zcash, you know, trade, a Zcash long. But I don't like the idea of buying something when it already started running. I like to identify these areas and figure out, you know, where it could go and try to hopefully catch this this run before it starts running. Let's see what Zcash looks like here on the oscillators here. MACD is showing that selling pressure is dying down. You got the blue line on the MACD starting to curve up, and if it does and it catches up to this orange line, that's your confirmation that you could still be in a long on Zcash here. And then market cipher B is showing a green buy dot, showed up here today, and money flow is starting to curve back up. So I think you're gonna start hearing about Zcash all over again later on this week, guys, where we might see Zcash hit 500 bucks later on this week. That's my prediction. I think we might see Zcash hit $500 later on this week. Cameron is in the chat saying he has a juicy long and spot trade on Zcash. That's good. That's good. Very good. You entered a Zcash long at $311 last week when it was in the red. Hey, that's a good. I think that was a good area to get into on Zcash. You asked me how much lower it could go. I remember you asked me that in the Discord, and I thought it could head to like 260, 280. And that's just using the VRVP indicator here. Had Zcash continued going down like it was doing the last couple of weeks, there was some high volume here at like 270, 275, and then also here, yeah, basically around like 250, 270 is what I was thinking that Zcash could come down to before it would get a reaction and go up to high prices. But it looks like it got front run a little bit here, and Zcash only went down to like 305 and 300 last week, and now I think, you know, Zcash could be poised to go up to higher prices here. And just using the VRVP indicator as targets, you got 460 as your first target, which is also where this 21 EMA white line is at. That could act as a little bit of resistance there. And if you're able to push past that 21 EMA, then we're looking at 500 for Zcash here. All right, let's go ahead and look at Tesla for Lorene, and then we'll try to go back to looking at some more potential day trades here. Get rid of the VRVP for now. Tesla currently trading at $435, down 4% today. And Tesla's coming right back to this 786 retracement at 433. I would expect this to act as support. If not, then if we lose this potential support area where Tesla was trading at the 786 retracement for almost all throughout October here, if we lose that level, then yeah, we'll probably come right down to this golden pocket level here at 404, 410 bucks. Somewhere in this area is where I would expect Tesla to form a higher low before it goes up to higher prices here. You also got this green line, this 50-day simple moving average is climbing up. By the time price does come down to this level here, this 50 moving average is creeping up to higher prices. I would expect X to mark the spot at the golden pocket. I would expect, you know, 400 bucks to be about as low as Tesla goes over the next couple of weeks here, if it does come down to that level. And I would expect higher lows here for Tesla, and then try to see if Tesla is Tesla actually going to get back up to the highs for the year, where we saw Tesla at 474 and 470. I don't know what could do that for Tesla. Maybe the interest rate decision on Wednesday could be beneficial for Tesla, because their customers do take out auto loans, and lower interest rates would help people buy more Teslas here, and propel the stock to higher prices. And if the stock does go up to higher prices, we're expecting the 1272 fib extension to get hit sooner rather than later at $517 here for Tesla. But yeah, I mean, today could be a good day to buy some Tesla right now. You're getting a red candle here. But if we continue to get some more red candles, I think $400 is where you want to be aiming to buy some more Tesla if you're inclined to do that. All right, moving on from Tesla, let's get back into some trades here. Is it worth? Let's see, Cameron, what trade are you in, Cameron? I'm a little bit curious. Besides Zcash, what else are you in? I see Dash is running too. Bitcoin really not doing much, and I'm expecting Bitcoin to be sideways for the most part. Let's see, is anybody else here? Oh, you're in a Dogecoin long. Let's see if it's still worth getting into for Dogecoin. Dogecoin currently up 2.7% today. Ooh, I think I like this, kind of, sort of. I don't want to fall too much in love with it right now, but Dogecoin is, you know, near the lows for the year for the most part. I think a lot of meme coins look like this. It's not just Dogecoin. But as I zoom out, I'm gonna pull up that VRVP indicator one more time. See what the levels are to look for here. All right, so this VRVP indicator is pulling data going all the way back to like September of last year. We see that we're currently at sort of a high volume node here. If we were to lose the current price of like 14 cents, we could drop down to about 12.5 cents here. But you really won't get much significant support until you come down to like 10.5 cents here on the VRVP indicator here. That's where there should be some good amount of support for Dogecoin. But I'm just looking for a day trade. I want to look at my momentum indicators to see if this thing is going to start pushing its way up to higher prices here. But it's good to get a good picture view of what Dogecoin could do, the drop, you know, I'm not going to stick around to find out how bad it could get. But if we lose 14 cents, I think we could come down to like 12 or even 10 and a half cents here. And then to the upside for Dogecoin, I'm eyeballing this point of control here at this blue line at like 17 cents. That's what I think could be the high, the next target above us for take profit. Could be 17 cents here for Dogecoin. Get past that, and then we could probably see Dogecoin come up to like roughly like 19 or 20 cents. But I'm looking for a scalp trade on Dogecoin. Are you in this for a scalp trade, or are you in this for like kind of like you're gonna hold on to it for a couple of days there, Cameron, for like a leverage swing trade? Just curious what your game plan is for Dogecoin. You're holding it, okay? But is it a leverage trade, or is it a spot trade? And we have a request here for Tao. Thank you for that request. Oh, so you are doing leverage trade. How much leverage are you doing on your Dogecoin long? As I wait for your answer, I'm gonna try to go a little bit deeper into Dogecoin with the oscillators here. On market cipher B, I don't know. You got some red. The only saving grace that I see is that there is some higher lows here being formed on the momentum wave, and you got those green buy dots showing up here. I just don't like the fact that money flows on the red. It makes me think like, you know, not enough money is going into Dogecoin. So I just don't know. The MACD is showing that we did have selling pressure here towards like the middle of November, but the buying pressure is coming in here, so that's good to see. That's a daily time frame. This gives me ideas like, you know, what's going on here with Dogecoin on the longer time frames. Let's go into the 1 hour time frame. That's a good place for me to start when I'm interested in the day trade here. So right now on the MACD, I see buying pressure is dying down, and we're starting to get a little bit of selling pressure showing up here, and then the MACD is getting across where the blue line is now intersecting the orange line. So I would be looking for a short right now. Just looking at that MACD right now on Dogecoin. And then here on the chart, on the 1 hour time frame, you have hit the moving averages that were above you. These moving averages look like they're acting as resistance. You got the 100, the 200, the 200. Pretty important moving average to try to stay above. It looks like we're kind of getting rejected. I'd be more interested in a Dogecoin short right now, Cameron, to be honest with you. And if you're in a Dogecoin long and you were able to buy at lower prices, I'd be looking to take profit right now on Dogecoin if I was in a long. But I'm not in a trade right now here on Dogecoin. If you had to force me to take a trade one way or the other, I'd probably be looking for a short right now. And I put the stop loss right above the moving averages, the one hour moving averages here. I probably put it right above this 100 moving average at 14.5 cents, and I would try to short it right back down to like maybe 13 or 14 cents here, somewhere in this area. And if I put on the VRVP indicator with the 1 hour time frame, I'd probably be taking that short. If I was to short now on Dogecoin, I would probably take it down probably to this point of control at 0.139 pennies here is where I would be taking profit on the short. And Cameron says he's doing a 20x leverage long on Dogecoin right now. And Laureen says, ha ha ha, she can stand better now. We got like 5,800 likes. Thank you, Laureen, for the likes there. Let's see if we can get up to like 8,000 likes here. All right. Okay, so if I was to get into a Dogecoin, I'd be looking for a short. And I would be looking to take profit. down at like 0.139 pennies here for a scalp trade. I'd be entering right here, and let's let me just game plan this out. Is it even worthwhile? I'm looking for trades that can give me like a 3-to-1 ratio. If I was to take that down to like 0.139 and put my stop loss right above the 100 moving average, I'm risking about 1.3% to try and get 2.38%, and that's about a risk reward ratio of 1.83. That's just not good enough for me on that short. I want a short that's going to get me at least 2 on the risk reward ratio, maybe even 3 on the risk reward. So I wouldn't even take this short, to be honest with you. I don't think it's worth taking. Not the kind of trade that I'm looking for. But I appreciate you letting me know that you're in a Dogecoin long. Hopefully you were able to get in at lower prices here, because if you were able to get a long, let's just say you were long in yesterday afternoon at like 13.7 pennies here, and you're taking the profit up to like where we are right now, you put your stop loss probably near the value area low here. That was a 7-to-1 risk reward ratio for a long there on Dogecoin. Even if you moved your stop loss, let's see, if you move your stop loss down to the lows from yesterday evening, your risk reward ratio is 2.52, still worth taking a long, in my opinion there. But that's a trade that would have been, you know, worth getting into yesterday. I'm looking for something I can get into today. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Tau. Maybe Tau might have something interesting here on the charts. Like, I'm looking for a good trade to get into this afternoon, guys. Give me your best trades, whether it's a long or a short. Right now, we're looking at Tau currently trading at $291, up 5.3% today. Tau is above its value area on the 1-hour time frame. So the value area, for those who don't know, is this white line. This white line up top, that's the value area high, and the white line below is the value area low, and anything between that is just considered the value area. Okay, and this is just a range that shows you like where traders have been buying and selling in whatever time frame you're at. Right now we're on the 1-hour time frame, so this is only showing data going back to like last Friday. But it's good to be on like the 1-hour time frame if you're looking for a day trade, because it gives you an idea. It's like what you can realistically expect out of your day trades here. Okay, if that makes any sense. But this asset Tau is above the value area, so this thing is considered overvalued in my opinion. Just looking at it from the 1-hour time frame. It might be a different story on the daily time frame, but right now I would be looking to take profit if I was already in the long, and I would be looking to possibly enter a short, but obviously it would have been better shorting earlier this morning when this thing was at $307. If I was to take a short, right, I would probably enter here and take a little bit of profit at that point of control, that blue line at 282. And then take the rest of my profit. My second take profit would be at like 272 here. But you could do that as a scalp, right? As a scalp day trade, I could do something like that. And let's just game plan that one out, right? If I was to do a short on Tau here, let's say I had a conservative stop loss where I had the stop loss as high as like the highs from early this morning at 307. And I was going to take profit all the way down here at the value area low. Risk reward ratio is 1.2. That's even worse than what I saw here with Dogecoin. I want a risk reward ratio of 3. So I still think the take profit on a day trade is the best I could probably do is probably take profit at 272 on a short. I would have to move the stop loss to make this worthwhile. Maybe I could put the stop loss probably around the candlewick highs here earlier this morning at like $300. Now the risk reward ratio is about 2.3. Still not the best. You know, I want like a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio on any trade that I take, because I feel like it's worth taking the trade. If I want to risk my hard-earned money, I want to make sure I'm going to get paid well for the risk that I'm taking. If I wanted to, I could probably move the stop loss even lower than that to like the candlewick high here from like a few hours ago at 11 a.m. We had, you know, we got as high as about 296 here on Tau. Now I'm risking 1.5% to try and get 6.8%. Risk reward ratio is 4.5. That's a better short to take if I wanted to get into a short. Let's look at the oscillators. Do the oscillators agree that we should go down to lower prices here? On the 1 hour time frame, we do have selling pressure increasing, and then we got a confirmation here that the blue line crossed the orange line, so you got that MACD cross to the downside here, and you also got the MACD flip from buying pressure into selling pressure. So yeah, earlier today would have definitely been a better time to short, but you could still short, and maybe the trend is still, you know, we'll see lower prices here for Tau. Maybe. Let's take a look at market cipher B. Market cipher B on the 1 hour time frame. We got money flow is now entering into the red, okay, on the 1 hour time frame. So we went from green to red. So maybe a short could play out. And then we have here on the momentum wave, momentum going down, and it hasn't crossed yet. It hasn't done like a momentum flip. But if we continue doing what we're doing right now, then yeah, maybe a short on Tau might actually play out here. You got the red sell dot saying that 6 a.m. was a good time to sell. Let's see what that looks like here on the price chart here. Around 6 a.m. was right where we got this red candle here on the 1 hour time frame for Tau. It was trying to tell us a short around that time there. So I could enter a short. I'll probably be showing up late to the party here, but it might actually play out still, because the oscillators here on the 1 hour time frame are saying that this thing might want to go down to low prices. And then also looking at the VRVP indicator, we see that there's a lot of support below us, but there's not that much you know, resistance above us, right? And we are overvalued. We're overvalued because we're above the value area high, or we were above the value area high. And I would expect this thing to come right back down to the point of control, and then visit maybe the value area low if it's going to continue being bearish. We got Duality C in the chat, and we have Zora. Zora's in the chat as well. Dope Boy here on TikTok is asking about, does crypto trade all throughout December? Yes, it does. It's 24/7, 365. 366 on a leap year. Laureen's asking me, could Ultima be a good short right now? Let's go ahead and take a look at, we'll take a look at Ultima for you. And I see Idreas is in the chat asking about World Liberty Finance. I'll have to look at World Liberty Finance because he did request that before Laureen said Ultima. And Block X says great analysis. Thank you. Thank you for sending me the gifts here too as well, Block X. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Let's look at World Liberty Finance. I know we were looking at that trade. We were looking at World Liberty last week. Let's see if anything has changed here. We were looking at whether it could be a long or a short. I remember last time we were looking at it. World Liberty Finance. Let me see. I had. Where's my previous chart work? I was looking at this thing. Was it on MEXC? Because I remember I drew out the bear flag as best as I could on World Liberty Finance. And I'm just trying to remember, like, where was my previous chart work here? Was it on Coinbase? Whatever. Anyways, I'll just have to. I guess I'll just have to redraw it out if I can here. I like that. Yeah. Alright, so just looking at this chart, one could say that this is possibly a bear flag here on World Liberty Finance. If this is a bear flag, then it would look like this, where we would break out of the bear flag and the measure move to the downside could possibly take us down to like that blue number at 6 cents here for World Liberty Finance. If this is a bear flag, I mean, the bears are going to say it's a bear flag. But World Liberty Finance, what is it doing right now? At least on the daily time frame, you are still making higher lows here, higher lows here. So you're frustrating the hell out of the bears that want to push the price down, because you're not really going down, at least not yet, on World Liberty Finance. You're above right here. The last significant, I think, higher low right here is at 14 cents. If you lose 14 cents, then yeah, this thing's probably going to want to roll over and die on us and actually go to lower prices here. So right now, I would actually still be looking for a long here on World Liberty Finance. I put the stop loss right below the lows here on December 1st at like 14 cents if you want to keep it tight, or maybe like 13.5 cents for a looser stop loss. But if we actually drop down below 14 or 13.5 cents, then this thing probably wants to go even further down. You probably don't want to stick around to find out how much lower it's going to go. So just, put your stop loss at 14 or 13.5 cents. I think you'll be all right with, you won't be losing too much money. However, buying here now, if you're in a day trade, I would just look for the top of this potential bear flag, or this rising, what do you want to call it, like a rising triangle here? Ascending triangle maybe? It's not really, because ascending triangle would be like a flat top, right? I guess you could call that maybe an ascending triangle if it looks like that, right? But you could buy here on the bottom of this uptrend and then try to sell for a day trade, a leverage long. You could probably sell at 17 cents here for World Liberty Finance. Let me go ahead and pull the VRVP indicator to see if it actually agrees with those levels here. You got a point of control below you here at about roughly 14 cents. Like I said, if you lose 14 cents, it's going to be rolling down to lower prices here. And you got some support here at 11 cents, but that's about it, right? To the upside, there is a little bit of resistance at 16 cents. You got like a little bit of volume going on over here. But once you get past 16 cents, there's not much resistance until like 17, almost 18 cents here. So I would be taking profit on a leverage long at like 17 to 18 cents, somewhere in that area. And you got this gap here in the VRVP, but you got a little bit of volume at 17.5 cents, and then you got some more at like 18.5 cents. And then you got the value area high sitting at like 19 cents. That's where I would definitely take profit on any leverage long that I'm in on World Liberty Finance. So if you like long in rather than shorting, I think World Liberty Finance might be worth getting into, guys, here. Alright, let's move on from World Liberty Finance. We'll take a look at Ultima. And I believe that's a crypto, right? Ultima USD. On MEXC exchange. Ultima is currently trading at $5,679 here. Up 2.4%. And I have looked at this thing with previous chart work here. Ultima is actually coming up right now, Lorraine. It's coming up on this 200-day moving average. This is probably going to act as resistance. It acted as resistance here on November 29th. I'm expecting it to act as resistance again. It's sitting at like 5,837 is where I would take profit on Ultima. Alright. What was your question about Ultima, though? Could it be a good short? That was the question? Possibly, yeah, possibly. If I was to enter a short on Ultima, I'd probably put the stop loss right above this 200-day moving average. Okay. At 5,830, maybe put the stop loss at like 5,900. If you really want to be more conservative on the stop loss, you could probably put the stop loss above the highs here on November 29th at 64.50. And what you'd be looking for is you're looking for a rejection off the 200-day moving average. This hasn't happened yet on the daily time frame, but if we come up to this red line and get rejected, that's where you're looking for your short, to enter your short. And you could take this short, you know, take partial profit when this thing comes down to the value area high. It might actually bounce off this value area high, this white line, okay? And also you got the blue line and the green line. This is the 100-day and the 50-day moving average. That could also act as support. So you're looking for a short. If you're day trading this, you're going to try to short it at 5,800 or 5,900. And you're going to take this down to 4,900 or roughly maybe like 5,000, okay? And this is how I would game plan that short here, okay? Where I would, you know, short here at, let's say we're going to short right now at 5,600. I put the stop loss right above the 200-day moving average at like 5,900. And I'm taking profit near the value area high. And you're risking 4% to try to get 14%. That's actually a pretty decent trade to take, Lorraine, on that short. Your risk reward ratio is 3.5. I like this for a short already. And then here's the thing, you could take partial profit. You don't have to close out the short. You could take partial profit at like 4,800 or 4,900, somewhere in this area, but then you can actually continue staying in this trade and see if this thing comes all the way down to the point of control, this blue line. And now look at this risk reward ratio. You got a 9.86 risk reward ratio. You're risking 4% to try and get 39% to the downside here on Ultima. This is where I would try to take the rest of my profits here, but you might even get luckier than that. You might even be able to squeeze out some more profit and take this all the way down to the value area low. The value area low, this white line here, is sitting at 28.97, and you're risking 4% to try and get 48%. That's a 12-to-1 risk-reward ratio. I think that's worth taking. All right, let me write down DZ's request here. He wants to look at Zora. I got you, DZ. All right, so yeah, Lorraine, I think Ultima is looking like a potential good short here. That was a good request there. You said it looks bullish on the 15th. Well, I mean, we're looking at the daily time frame, which is giving us, you know, the long-term picture for like a leverage swing trade here. But this thing could possibly still be bullish and pushing its way up to that 200-day moving average, okay? And it might even go past the 200-day moving average, okay? That's the thing about trading. Nothing's really guaranteed, but we're just trying to figure out the levels here. So far, I like the idea, but let's look at the 1 hour time frame. That's usually where I start on a day trade, is the 1 hour time frame. Game planning things out here. On the 1 hour time frame, you're above all the moving averages, so this thing is still extremely bullish here on the 1 hour time frame. On the MACD, if you can see that, the MACD, you had selling pressure, but now you're getting buying pressure, and the buying pressure is increasing. So you might have to wait to get into this short, and that's okay. I mean, that's part of trading. You have to be a little bit patient. Sometimes you got to be a lot of patience, right? You got to have a lot of patience to get the best trades, right? And here on the market cipher B, there is money flowing here into Ultima on the 1 hour time frame. I guess you could wait. You could wait until you see this thing. This thing is starting to creep up into the overbought territory, where these red horizontal bars is, and you're waiting for something like this where you see a red sell dot come up, and you want to see that red sell dot come right above these horizontal red lines here. That'd be a much better area to short. So you might have to wait like an hour or two, maybe a few hours, but maybe later on tonight could be a better time to short Ultima and actually get a really good price on your short. And then you did mention the 15-minute time frame. Let's see what's going on in the 15-minute time frame here. Once again, you're above all the moving averages here on Ultima. You're above the 21, the 50, the 100, and the 200. So this thing is still extremely bullish until it starts going below one of these moving averages. On market cipher B, you got red sell dot here. So this is what you want to see. You want to see a red sell dot come here on the red horizontal bars and the overbought area. This is the overbought area or territory. And you want to start seeing momentum coming down like it is, and you want to see money flow start going down as well to confirm that you can still be in a short on Ultima. And then here on the MACD, yeah, you did have buying pressure here, but now the buying pressure is dying down, so you want to see some more of that. If you are shorting, Ultima right now, you want to see the buying pressure die down some more. But here's the thing about the MACD. The buying pressure could die down and then start increasing again. So you got to watch out for that. What you want is you want a confirmation where this blue line is curving down. And then you want to see that blue line actually curve down and go below the orange line here. And that's going to be like a confirmation signal that the buying pressure is dying down. And you should see some selling pressure. Kind of like right here. You had the blue line curve down, and then it came and it went below the orange line. That was like a confirmation to get into a short, at least on this 15-minute time frame. Because look, you see the blue line come below the orange line, and then of course buying pressure starts dying down and it turns into selling pressure. Okay. Had you done that, like if you were paying attention to those signals here on the MACD, you would have been shorting like right over here, and then you got your confirmation on the MACD. And this thing would have paid out, right? It would have paid out to, you got your, these are momentum indicators. And this is showing that, when you get that cross, you can get paid on your short. All right, let's move on from Ultima. We're going to take a look at Zora now. Maybe I might come join you on shorting Ultima, Laureen. Why not? Seems like the best trade that I've seen so far. The best short right now looks like Ultima right now. All right, let's look at Zora now for DZ. DZ, are you still in the chat? Give me a 1 or a 2 or something. Put another comment so I know you're still in the chat here. And also, DZ, if you could let me know, do you want me to look at the smaller time frames here? Or do you want me to just stick to the big picture for Zora? So I'm zooming out right now. Zora is currently trading just below 5 pennies, up slightly today. Nothing to write home to mom about. Zora has been in a downdraft. A downtrend all throughout since the end of October, beginning of November. We're looking at the daily time frame here, and you're below all the moving averages here. So is it undervalued? Maybe. Is it going to still go lower? We can try to figure that out as best as we can. But just looking at the daily time frame here, being below all the moving averages, the 21 EMA, the white line's probably a key line to pay attention to. That's going to act as your resistance. It's also the line that follows the price action as closely as possible here. And you can see that we've already came up to this white line earlier today and got rejected. I want to get above that white line and show that we're going to be bullish here if Zora is actually going to be bullish. You got the 200-day moving average just starting to show up here. This is a relatively new asset here on Coinbase Exchange. But the 200-day moving average could act as a bully as well. So I think there's a lot of resistance right now between 5 to like 0.053 pennies here. That's going to be a problem area for Zora until Zora can show that it's no longer a problem and we can go up to higher prices here. Let me pull up the VRVP indicator, see what the VRVP has to say about all of this price action. Very interesting. So most of the buyers here that bought Zora, they bought it at lower prices. You got a lot of support here at a penny. I'm looking at data going all the way back to like May of earlier this year, May of 2025, and that's what you really got here. But because we're above all this support, you could say that Zora might actually be overvalued at this area. And if that's the case, then Zora could drop down like a rock until it gets support. And I don't see much support. We didn't really build that much support here below 4 pennies. Like, we could easily drop from like 4 pennies down to like a penny and a half, because we didn't really build much support here. Like, when we started going up to higher prices here on Zora back here in July, there was no sideways trading action. It was just like green candle, green candle, green candle. We were going up like 60%, 30%, 40%, 33%, and we didn't really go sideways to like catch a breath. We kind of went a little bit sideways here towards the end of July, and that's kind of like where we're at right now. So that's the reason, like, whoever bought here in July, they're not gonna click the sell button until we go lower than about 4.5 pennies here. And I just think 4.5 pennies is gonna be a support for now. But if you break through 4.5 pennies, we could drop down to like a penny and a half, from what I'm seeing on the charts here with Zora. There's really not much support below 4.5 pennies and 4 pennies here. So those are your downside targets for Zora. Upside targets are going to be probably your moving averages to the upside. Like I said, 5 pennies to like 0.053 pennies is going to be your first problem area. But if you can get past that, then we'll see how we handle ourselves near 6 pennies. And then also where these moving averages are at 0.068 pennies. Could be the next take profit target for Zora. We got the one here, just started following me here on TikTok. And he says, you want me to check on BSC? BSC, what is that, a stock or a crypto? Cameron's asking me, why are people buying pink slip stocks? Probably because they're treating it more like gambling than investing at this point, if that's the case. The one wants me to look at BSC crypto. Okay, let's take a look at that for ya. Excuse me. Binance Super Cycle is the name of the crypto. And it's trading on MEXC exchange. Whoa, what's going on here? This is a very interesting chart. Started trading on MEXC exchange in October. Got as high as about like almost 5 pennies here. But since then it's been dropping like a rock. Are you trying to scrape for the bottom of the barrel here? Because like you're near the lows for the year, but this thing hasn't even been around for a year, so you don't know, could it go lower than that? Let's see, the lows for the year came in on November 23rd. We saw this thing as low as like, I'm gonna just say that 16.93. Right now we're currently trading at 23.15. You are above the white 21 exponential moving average on the daily time frame, so that's good to see here. That's a little bit, you know, you could be a little bit optimistic because of that, the fact that you're above the 21 EMA. But I don't really have any other moving averages. This thing has not been around long enough for any of the other daily moving averages to come in here. I could go into smaller time frames and start getting maybe some moving averages show up, maybe on the 4-hour time frame. Let's see what it looks like on the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, I got some moving averages to look at here. And on the 4-hour time frame, I like the fact that you are making higher lows here. And you try to get above the 200 moving average, and you did it in a very clear and convincing fashion here last Wednesday. But you weren't able to hold on to that momentum before coming back right back down to the moving averages right here at like 2300. Okay, I mean, it looks like it wants to be bullish here. It's you're making the higher lows here. That's good to see. That's good to see. And you have pierced through the 200 moving average. That was also good to see as well here. I want to just see this thing continue making higher lows and higher highs. Can we get past the high that we did here last Wednesday where we saw this thing at 4,000? I mean, if you get up to like 4,000, that's almost like a double in price from where you are right now. So you could make some money just waiting for that to happen. Let's look at the oscillators here. See, I kind of want to see what the RSI, just the regular RSI is doing here. Because I'm looking to see if there's any bullish divergence showing that buyers are stepping in on this asset here. I do see higher lows here. Obviously, we made lower lows here on the price. But it doesn't really look like bullish divergence. But it is nice to see on the RSI that you are making higher lows on the RSI. So just keep doing that and you will see higher prices eventually. Every time you make a higher low here, you're frustrating the hell out of the shorts that want to short. You're frustrating the crap out of the bears that are trying to be bearish. And if you get above that 200 moving average at 25.46 here, you're making the case that it's better to be bullish than bearish on this asset. So I like it. I like it so far. Let's see what the MACD has to say about things here. Selling pressure was at its worst back on Saturday, December 6th, this past weekend, and now selling pressure is dying off. Selling pressure started increasing again this morning, probably because Bitcoin started to dip down on us. But what I want to see is I want to see this blue line start curving up on the 4-hour time frame, curve up and get above this orange line here. Okay, kind of like what you did here last Tuesday, where the blue line came above the orange line, and then of course you saw the buying pressure started coming in last week on this asset. Okay, and then you kind of, this is what you saw here. You got that cross here on the MACD, and then you saw prices going up where we spiked up above the 200 moving average. That's what you want to see. Okay, we're not quite getting that yet. You want, like I said, we want to see blue lines start curving up. Right now it's not curving up, so I can't get bullish on it right now until it does something like that. All right, thank you the one for sending me that gift. Appreciate that. You want me to take a look at another crypto called The 4? Okay, try to take a look at that. For USD DT, it's on MEXC exchange here. This is also a relatively new cryptocurrency here. Started trading on MEXC exchange back on October 1st, so about a couple of months ago. It's relatively new. I do have a 21 EMA that usually shows up first before the other moving averages start to show up. You are below the 21 EMA, and the problem right now is the 21 EMA is acting as resistance. Like you actually came up to the 21 exponential moving average on the daily time frame here on November 30th, and you got rejected. At the 21 EMA was at 4 cents roughly. You came up to 4 cents before you got rejected. Okay, right now we're currently trading at 0.023 pennies here. If you were to start catching bids again, I would expect that 21 EMA to act as resistance one more time, but now the 21 EMA is at 0.032 pennies, this white number right here. 0.032 pennies is where I expect there to be a little bit of a problem for 4 to try to go to higher prices. That's going to be a problem area. Okay, let me move on to the 4-hour time frame, see if there's any other moving averages to look for here on the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, now I got some more moving averages to look at. Once again, 21 EMA you want to get above that. Right now you're below it, so this thing is bearish until we start getting above some of these moving averages, and the first one is going to be that 21 EMA. Okay, we got a 50-day moving average sitting at 3 cents. I think that's the same area that we saw the 21 EMA on the daily time frame. I think 3 cents is going to be the most you can ask for out of this asset to the upside, until it can show us that it can actually go higher than 3 cents. If you go higher than 3 cents, then you actually got the 100 moving average on the 4-hour time frame sitting at 3.5 cents, and then you got the 200 moving average sitting at 4 cents. That's going to be another tough area for you to get above as well, until you're able to show that you can stay above those moving averages here. Let's see what the RSI is showing here. RSI. Are we making higher lows here? You got a low back here in November 20th at 25.58. Then you got another low here at 31.58. And then right now we're at 34.37. So I guess you kind of are making some higher lows here. I don't know. I'm kind of looking at right now. I'm looking at the low here on December 1st at 31.58. But then over here on Sunday, yesterday, we were at 30.91. That's a lower low. So not really bullish divergence. You do not want to be making lower lows, because if you do that, then the price will get dragged down with the lower lows on the RSI. So I don't see bullish divergence. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for bullish divergence. Bullish divergence, you're going to be making higher lows on the RSI while making lower lows here on price. That's your bullish divergence. You kind of had that bullish divergence, and you had an opportunity to go to higher prices last week if this bullish divergence was going to play out, but instead you just kept making lower lows. So the bullish divergence is no longer bullish divergence, because like, look, like you were making higher lows on the RSI, but now you're making lower lows, right? You're kind of doing this now. You're making lower lows. That's no bueno. That's not good. That's not bullish divergence anymore. And if it's not bullish divergence, then that means this thing could possibly go to lower prices. I actually liked the other one that you showed me or asked about. I like BSC better than 4 right now, from what I'm seeing on the charts. Are we bottoming out? I don't think so. I wouldn't bet on it just yet, because you're still making lower lows here. Start making higher lows, and I could say, yeah, you are bottoming out. Even if you just make a double bottom, if you make a double bottom, I could say, all right, we bottom out. That's literally in the name of it, double bottom. A double bottom is a bottom, but right now you haven't done a double bottom yet either. We're still wondering, are we going to go lower than the lows here from yesterday? We're as low as 0.023 pennies. We just don't know if we're done going down yet until we start making higher lows or making a double bottom. A double bottom will look kind of like something like this, right? If I can draw this out. A double bottom would be like you actually come up to higher prices, but then you come back, you revisit the lows, but you don't go lower than what you did back here. And then you shoot up to higher prices. The double bottom kind of looks like a W, right? You're not doing that yet. But even better than a double bottom would be if you just make a higher low, right? You come up to higher prices. You don't go down as low as you did today. And then you go up to higher prices. Then you'd be like, all right, yeah, we made a higher high, higher low, and we're now creating an uptrend. You don't have that yet on 4 either. So I can't say we're bottoming out. We just don't know yet. Alright, I want to go back to looking at Ultima, because that was an interesting trade that Lorraine put a request for. And she asked me if it's a good short, and I kind of think it is. Let me just zoom out to the daily time frame. So this is what we were looking at for Ultima. Maureen was asking me about it. Right now, we're currently seeing Ultima trading at 5,717. We do have a 200-day moving average right above us that could act as resistance and prevent us from going to higher prices. That's sitting at 5,838. I would put my stop loss probably above that at like 5,900. It could still, you know, go up to higher prices, pass and get me stopped out, but that's where I would at least game plan my stop loss to be for a short on Ultima. And the reason why I kind of like Ultima right now is because, well, yeah, we got a juicy risk reward ratio here, but if I just short right now and I take it down to the moving averages below us at this 100-day moving average, it's a risk reward ratio of 2.59. That's close to 3. Then there's also, I could probably take it down to this other moving average, this 50-day moving average at 49.42, and that risk reward ratio is 3.2. That's a worthwhile trade to take, in my opinion. But if this thing drops down as fast as it went up, I mean, the risk reward ratio becomes even juicier, where, you know, we could see, you know, like a 10 or 11 on the risk reward ratio if we just go back to where we started from the end of November here. And just looking at this here with the VRVP indicator, the VRVP indicator is saying that, you know, I could take profit at the value area low at 29.40. So like somewhere right here. And there you go. That risk reward ratio becomes 12. That's a good short to take if it does play out. But I don't know if it's going to happen like that. More than likely, it will probably come down to the moving averages, and I'm only going to get that for a risk reward ratio, like a 2.7, where I'm risking 4% to try and get 10%. That's still a worthwhile trade to take. And then I might even be able to take it down to the point of control. Let's see, I just zoomed out here a little bit, but where is that point of control? That point of control is like right here at 38.49. And that becomes a risk reward ratio about like 7.98. I think that's worth taking. Now I could analyze this some more. Let me get rid of the VRVP indicator. Let's see what oh shit, I got rid of the wrong one. Let's see what a Fibonacci would look like on this one. We got as high as 64.50. We came as low as 28.23. How low did I say? 28.23? Yeah, 28.23. So if I can just adjust that to 28.23, somewhere around there, and 64.50. Okay, so these are the Fibonacci numbers to look for. If this thing does a normal pullback, it will at least come down to the 618 at 5,000. We've already done that pullback. That pullback came in on November 30th here. We got as low as like 42.50, and that was taking you all the way down to that 0.32 retracement. So we already seen that happen. We're trying to see if we're going to get rejected off this 200 moving average. This 200 moving average is sort of confluent with the 786 retracement at 5,680. We're actually above that as well. So if this thing is not going to be bullish, if this is actually going to be bearish, if we're going to get rejected off the 200 moving average, I would expect us to come right back down, like I said, to the moving averages below us at 5,080, and that's going to put you right back at that 618 golden pocket. So if you're a Fibonacci guy, you're just targeting the golden pocket here at 5,000 and 5,100. So I would take partial profit at the golden pocket, and I would take more profit if we are able to come down to this 0.382 again. I would take more profit at 4,200. Let's see, this thing is coming out 29. But do I want to enter the short now? could I get a better price on my short? Let's see what the what this thing is doing on the 1 hour time frame here. We are still extremely bullish on the 1 hour time frame for Ultima because you are above all the moving averages here, including the 21 EMA. So this thing might not be done going up yet. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. The MACD is showing buying pressure is still coming in on Ultima right now. So I might have to wait. I might have to wait to enter a short maybe later on tonight on Ultima. I could probably put my buy limit orders in though, or in this case my short limit order. But I'm waiting for, at least on the 1 hour time frame, for Ultima to get a red sell dot above these red horizontal bars. This is your overbought zone, your overbought territory. Okay. I want to see a red sell dot like we saw back here on Sunday. I want to see that happen above the red horizontal bars here on the 1 hour time frame. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm also waiting for, on the MACD, I'm waiting for this blue line to cross the orange line to the downside. Right now we just got a blue line crossing the orange to the upside, so this thing might continue going up. But I am interested in the short because it could play out pretty well. It might be a little bit too early to short it though right now. This is what I'm seeing. Now I'm on the 15-minute time frame. Let's see what those oscillators are showing. On the 15-minute time frame, you are kind of getting close to being overbought. Oh, you got a red sell dot that just came in just now. Money flow is still in the green. So not quite interested in shorting just yet. 15-minute time frame, buying pressure looks like it's dying down. You're waiting for that blue line to cross the orange line to the downside. Yeah. Ah, but I see now I'm talking about it. The price is dropping down right now. Maybe someone thought it was a good idea to short it right now. We got Jay in the chat here on YouTube. Jay is asking about Poet and BBAI. Those are like your two favorite stocks, huh? Thank you, Lorraine, for sharing my Discord with the people here on TikTok. Appreciate that. Lorraine wants me to look at the 5-minute for Ultima here. We'll take a look at it real quick. And then Cameron's asking about Zeus and Power. And then Cameron wants me to look at the 15-minute for those assets there. Okay. Let me get a little bit cold here. It's a little bit cold here in Massachusetts. I'm gonna turn the heat up here real quick, guys. Bear with me for a minute. Not even. Got a little bit of heat going on. All right, so let me look at Zeus, and then I'll look at Poet for Jay. And Maureen want to look at the 5-minute time frame. I'm not sure what you want to look at the 5-minute time frame for, Maureen. But we'll take a look at the oscillators. Right now, you got a little bit of red selling pressure going on here on Ultima. And you got a red sell dot that just came in just now. Money flow in the green, but it was in the red about an hour ago. All right, let's move on to Zeus, and then I'll look at Poet, and I'll go back and forth because Cameron and Jay both gave me 2 requests to look at each. I got like 4 things to look at right now. Zeus USD. All right, so here we are looking at Zeus Network. Trading at 3 pennies. Let's get into the daily time frame. This thing is up 37% today. Cashing the bids. Got above the 21 EMA. That's good to see. But this thing, what? This thing is dropping. Been dropping like a rock all throughout the year here. What do you want me to do with this? Are we trying to figure out, has it bottomed out yet? It looks like I did some previous chart work saying that this thing needs to stop dropping, but it kept on dropping even when I was looking at this back in September. Yikes. Okay. But you said let's look at Zeus on the 15-minute time frame. Is that what you want to look at? Tariq says we are cooked. How long do bear markets last? Bitcoin usually goes into a bear market for about a year. From all-time high to the bear market low, it usually takes about a year, about 12 months. So if all-time high was in October of this year, then Bitcoin could be in a bear market until October of next year. But this bull market hasn't really been that exciting or as euphoric as other bull markets. One could say that the euphoria was when Donald Trump got inaugurated in January, and Bitcoin was at like $109,000. That might have been the beginning of the bear market. And yeah, Bitcoin did make new all-time highs, but it was like a very muted and subdued bull run for Bitcoin, while the other altcoins were in their bear market. So maybe we've been in a bear market. That's what I've been listening to and talking to other people in Discord. Some people think that 2025 was a bear market. We just didn't know it. And if that's the case, then maybe the end of this bear market, if we are in one for altcoins and crypto, maybe it comes to an end the beginning of next year. So we might actually be towards the end of it. All right, but yeah, looking at Zeus daily time frame. Let's look at the 15-minute time frame because that's what Cameron requested here. On the 15-minute time frame, bullish above all the moving averages. Let's see. MACD. Selling pressure has died down from earlier this afternoon. Buying pressure is now starting to come in. You got again the cross here on the MACD, where the blue line is getting above the orange line. So there could be a few good couple hours here for Zeus to go to higher prices if it's inclined to do so here. And the market cipher B indicator. Money flow starting to show up again for Zeus. You had the money flow in the red like the last couple hours, but now we're going back in the green again. And you saw that green, yesterday and earlier this morning. So, yeah, this thing might want to still go up to higher prices here. And if it is going to go to higher prices, let's just do a Fibonacci to figure out what the extension levels might be to the upside. You got a 1272 that says this thing could get up to like 3.5 pennies, and then a 1618 that says this thing could get up to like 4 pennies here. Those will be your upside targets if this thing continues being bullish. Downside targets, I mean, you already hit. Looks like you already hit the 0.5 retracement at 2.5 pennies. You came down to 2.5 pennies about 2 hours ago. Okay, and then you also got a 50 moving average here at 2.5, yeah, roughly 2.5 pennies. So I'd be looking for 2.5 pennies if this thing does come down to the downside on you. All right, let's move on to Poet for Jay here. Poet's currently trading at $6.32, up 4.38% today. Poet just, I mean, it's bullish. It's above its moving averages. It's looking fine. You know, obviously you would have better buying opportunities back here in the middle of November after they had their earnings report. Their earnings came in better than expected, and since then the stock has been able to take off with that good news there. But where could Poet go next? Let's turn the VRVP indicator, see what that has to say about Poet here. Your value area is going to be between 3.5 and 7.7. Value area low, value area high. You're above the highest volume node here, which is the point of control, sitting at 528. If you were to start going down to lower prices, I would expect 528 to act as support. And then to the upside here, if you are going to continue climbing up to higher prices, you could jump up to like 720 before you get some resistance, and there's some more resistance at 740, and of course the value area high at 770 is where I would start taking some profit if I haven't done so already, being in this this stock here, Poet. So those are the levels I'd be looking for there for Poet. Let's move on from Poet. We'll take a look at Power, and then we'll go back to looking at BBAI for Jay here. Power Protocol. What the hell? Another cryptocurrency that's up like 60% today. Power Protocol currently trading at 28 pennies here, up 10 cents today. And I think Cameron wanted me to look at the 15-minute time frame for this crypto here. But let's just look at the daily for now. What the? It did like a nice little gap up here about a few days ago. Oh wait, no. On August 7th, it was trading at about a penny. Then it started trading again on December 5th. This thing must have got delisted here, huh? It got delisted and then relisted again on MEXC exchange. Okay. It got relisted on Friday, last Friday. Went up like 121% on Saturday, dropped down 21% on Sunday, and now here we are going up 60% today. Alright. But Cameron wanted to look at the 15-minute time frame because he is a day trader and he likes his smaller time frames here. Bullish, obviously. You're up 60%, you would expect to be bullish. On the 15-minute time frame, we're just now starting to get these moving averages showing up here. The 50, the 100, and the 200. And now the 21 EMA. The 21 EMA is going to act as your support level. If you're day trading it, scalp trading it, you could just buy every time this thing comes down to the 21 EMA and just put your stop loss below the 21 EMA. And if you get stopped out, then that probably means there's a change in direction here, a change in trend. And the trend is no longer your friend anymore on Power Protocol. But right now, the trend is your friend, and we are moving on to higher prices. And what I do, just to game plan things out sometimes here, Cameron, I'll actually just extend this 21 EMA. Like if we keep doing the same thing, like the next few hours going into later on tonight, then this 21 EMA should continue going to the upside here, and then you can kind of figure out at the very least like how much higher this thing could go. And it's saying that, you know, by the end of tonight, we could see a 35-cent Power Protocol at the very least if we just continue the trend the way we're doing it right now. Let me get into the 1 hour time frame. And I'm going to try to do a Fibonacci here. I'm going to try to do a Fibonacci from here to here. From like what we were doing. The lows on Sunday, we came in at 16.5 cents. And then today we got as high as like 31 cents. So I'm going to do a Fibonacci on that to figure out how much higher this thing could possibly go. Yeah, look at this, Cameron. We got a 1272 Fibonacci saying that the 1272 Fib extension level says we could get up to like 35 cents here on Power Protocol. Then there's another level above you at the 1618 at 40 cents. But remember I looked at the 21 EMA on the 15-minute time frame, and I was like, all right, if we just extend this thing out, how much higher could it go? And it looks like later on tonight we could hit 35 cents. And you got the Fib extension level saying 35 cents could be the next level to look for Power Protocol to the upside. Just an idea. Not going to say it's going to happen like that, but it gives you an idea of like where you could take profit. Obviously, you could take profit from the highs from today at 31 cents, but you might be able to push this thing further up to like 35 cents. Wow, we got up to like 15,000 likes here on TikTok. Thank you, Lorene. I know most of that probably came from Lorene. But thank you everybody else for hitting that like button. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Let's TikTok and YouTube know that we have a pretty good live stream here. We're giving you the good technical analysis here to help you guys figure out where these trades might go next. All right, let's move on to Big Bear AI. Jay, did you see my YouTube short? I actually did a YouTube short on Big Bear AI. I got that inspiration to do it because you kept asking me about it, and I feel like this was a good stock to get into over the last couple of weeks here. Let's see, is it still a good stock to get into? Looking at Big Bear AI, trading at $6.55, down 3.96% today. And I do have old previous Fibonacci analysis, so I think it's still useful here. I'm going to keep that on the chart here. Big Bear AI, just looking, eyeballing things right now. You're above the 50-day moving average. 50-day moving average is acting as support right now. At 644, we came down to 641 earlier today here on Big Bear AI. So let's just hope that that 50-day moving average continues acting as support. If not, then we might have to come down to some lower prices here, where we got the 100-day and the 21 EMA sitting at about like $6.12 and $5.90. So maybe Big Bear AI, you could get in on a discount around $6. But I would expect those to act as support. And I can barely see it, but the 0.236 level is sitting at 570. So I don't think this thing's gonna go lower than 570 as well. But you don't know. It might. There's no guarantees in trading and investing here. I'm gonna try to drag this over. Oh, gotta take that off. You can kind of see the numbers here. $465. Okay. Yeah, there we go. All right, much better, much better. So yeah, I think Big Bear AI, if it does come down, $5.70, $5.78 is an area that seems very interesting to be loading up the truck and buying some more Big Bear AI. Okay. And if this thing does continue to be bullish, I think we'll probably at least get up to that 618 golden pocket at 750 and 770 here. And I'm going to turn on the VRVP indicator here for you to see if the VRVP indicator has to say anything about these price levels. You got a point of control sitting at $7.16. It's a little bit below that golden pocket, but that could be another interesting area to try to take some profit. A lot of people bought and sold Big Bear AI at like $7 roughly over the past year now. And then you got a little bit of high volume here at 770. which, you know, we already said that's where the golden pocket is sitting at. You should be considering taking profit at that level. And then value area high sitting at 833. If you haven't hit the sell button yet or taken profit, don't get too greedy. You know, you know, bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered. Don't be a pig. Don't get too greedy. I would definitely think about clicking the sell button. You don't have to sell everything, but sell, you know, something to make some profit, right? You never lose money taking profit. And that value area high is sitting at like 833, which is also confluent with that 786 retracement number at 839. Let's see, what is Jay saying here? You got a 40K bag in Big Bear AI and Poet. Yep. Those are your two favorite stocks. And then you want me to jump? You bought $34 million worth of shares today. You see something big coming for Big Bear AI? Well, what is the big thing? I know Big Bear AI, they're kind of similar to Palantir. They have government contracts for their artificial intelligence. But, you know, those industries, they don't really like to give too much details and information. All you know is, like, they make money and the government keeps paying them. But I want to see them start branching out from the government to, like, working with, you know, commercial industries, you know, private companies, and even public companies for that matter. I'm waiting. I think that would be the catalyst for Big Bear AI and for Palantir to start working with the commercial industry for their AI technology. Thank you, Lorraine, for the compliments there about the great TA, the great technical analysis here. And that's it for requests. I didn't really get into a trade, even though I said I was going to try to do some day trades here. What's Bitcoin looking like right now? Has it come down? Maybe I might try to throw my hat in the ring on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is pretty much trading at the same price as when I first started the live stream here, right? And I said, you know, after analyzing Bitcoin on the smaller time frames, I think Bitcoin is just going to go sideways for now, because we're waiting on the macroeconomic news. We're waiting on the Federal Reserve meeting on Wednesday, and then you'll start seeing some volatility here for Bitcoin. But I think Bitcoin's just kind of like taking a nap, resting a little bit, waiting for the big day on Wednesday. Tariq asking me, how long do bear markets last? I think I already told you, Tariq, earlier in the live stream that for Bitcoin, usually for Bitcoin, after it makes the all-time high for the 4-year cycle, it takes about like 12 months for like Bitcoin to go to the bear market low. So if that all-time high was October of this year, then, you know, October of next year is probably where you'll see the lowest price for Bitcoin. But this cycle is a little bit different. Things are different. Some people say the ETFs are kind of like messing things up. Changing things up a little bit here. We also have interest rates are higher than what they were 4 years ago. Like, interest rates weren't even more than 1% for the Federal Reserve Federal Open Market Rate, or whatever they call it. Interest rates right now at like 4 or 5%, somewhere in that area. I don't know the exact number, but we never had high interest rates like this. We didn't have high interest rates like this in 2021 during the last 4-year cycle, and we didn't have high interest rates like this back in 2017. I think in 2017 interest rates were at like, I mean, they were at like, I think 1 or 2%, but they weren't 4%. Like, we never had interest rates this high, so that's kind of sucking money out of the system right now. Probably the reason why we didn't have a really good altcoin season or market, because people are struggling with the high interest rates. That affects their credit cards, that affects their mortgages, affects their car loans, right? All that money that they, you know, that they have to spend on those bills right there, it gets taken out of the system, and they're not able to buy altcoins like they did back 4 years ago. It's just, that's my opinion. That's how I see things. But Bitcoin right now on the 1 hour time frame, I don't know. I wouldn't really be interested in scalp trading Bitcoin right now. If I was to try it, I would put a buy order in at 90,300. Put the stop loss below the lows here at 89,600. And I'm just hoping to see if Bitcoin can get back up to 92K if I was to enter along here on Bitcoin. But I was more interested in that Ultima trade here for a short, potential short. But then Power was also looking good too. Cameron said, brought it to my attention, Power looks like it wants to continue going up to higher prices. But let's look at Ultima. Ultima also looks like it wants to go to higher prices too, but it might be coming to an end soon here. At least on the daily time frame. The reason why I think it might be coming to an end is we could get rejected off this 200-day moving average, which we're kind of getting close to right now. The highs for the day was 5,799, and the 200-day moving average is at 5,838. I think entering a short at 5,800 and putting a stop loss at like 5,900 or 6,000 could be the play to make on Ultima. Let's see, on the 1 hour time frame. See, this is why I have to wait. I can't enter a short on Ultima because we do have buying pressure. It's steadily increasing, and I would need to see the blue line start curving down on the 1 hour time frame, and curve down and go below the orange line like it did back here earlier this morning. Would have been that's what you want to look for, is like you want to see that blue line cross the orange line to the downside and get some selling pressure going on. Yeah. So it seems like I have to wait to get into a trade. I don't want to rush. If you told me like, Damien, you gotta get into a trade now, I'd be like, all right, I'm just gonna long Bitcoin. I'm just gonna long Bitcoin right now at 90,200. Put the stop loss below 89,600. These other assets like Power, maybe Power might continue going up. Let's take a look at Power one more time. If I wanted to enter a long and just ride the trend here, at least on the 15-minute time frame, as long as we stay above that 21 EMA, we're good. And I could just continue riding Power up to higher prices. I could put the stop loss. Let's see. Let's look at this. Maybe I get into a long now on Power, and then I do a short on Ultima later on tonight, or maybe I do a short on Power. I could just do a reversal. If I was to enter right now here on Power, stop loss below the 21 EMA. And I think this thing could go up to like 35 cents. Because that's where the 1272 Fibonacci extension level's at. It's a risk reward ratio of 4.7. I think I might do that. Cameron, are you still in the chat? I think I might go long on Power. I'm risking 4% to try and get 19%. Let's see if I can do that here on MEXC exchange. Alright guys, it's about to get serious now. We're looking for Power. Hopefully it's on here on MEXC. I think it should be. Power currently trading at 29 cents. Is that where it's at? Yeah, 29.32. Alright. 15-minute time frame, 21 EMA is where I'm going to put the stop loss. Below that, 0.28 pennies. Okay. Okay. But how much leverage should I use? I think I'll probably do 10x is where I usually start. If I need more, I can always add more. But I think 10x leverage is good for now. Take profit, stop loss. We're going to try to take profit at 35 pennies. Oh my god, $300 profit. And stop loss at 28 pennies. 28 cents is what I meant to say. Yeah, that's a little bit too much leverage. Okay, so if I was to enter a long and this thing does go down to 28 cents, I could get stopped out and lose 60 bucks. I don't like to lose more than $20 on a trade. That's just my criteria. Yours might be different, but you know, losing 20 bucks, it sucks, right? Losing anything more than 20 bucks sucks even more. So I'm gonna change this leverage down to 5x maybe. Let's see what that gives me. 5x leverage long, I'll lose 38 bucks. Still, I don't like that still. Yeah, I don't like that. Bring it down to 3x leverage. Now I'll lose about 25 bucks. That's a little bit better to see that. And I'll make $88 on the trade. That's fine. That's fine. This thing is bouncing all over the place. I probably want to do a limit order. And I also like entering on a red candle if I can too. Got a little bit of a green candle going on here in the 15-minute time frame. Alright, let me just change this over to a limit order. Need a little bit more margin in that. $0.295. Stop loss. I'll lose 23 bucks. There we go. I'm gonna open that up. Boom. And I got filled in for a 3x leverage long on power. Immediately, I'm already down on the trade, down 2 bucks. Okay. Okay. So there you go. Now just double checking my work here on the chart. My stop loss is at 28 pennies. It's below this 15-minute EMA. It seems as though we don't really go below the 15-minute EMA. We don't go below the 21 EMA on the 15-minute. We did back here earlier this morning. That's probably while Bitcoin was dropping down. So I just gotta be careful with, you know, if Bitcoin does drop down, I might get knocked out of this trade. And if I get knocked out right now, the stop loss, I'll lose $22 on the stop loss. But I'm targeting 35 cents here on power. I'll make $87 if we actually get up there. And there's my take profit right above us at 35 cents. I might even take partial profit at 31 cents. Let's see. If I was to take partial profit at like 31 cents, I only make like $24. Yeah. What, 31.40? That's what I really want. All right. If I took a little bit of little bit off the table at 31.40. Yeah, I could make $31. So maybe I do take partial profit, sell half the position. I'll make like 15, 16 bucks taking partial profit at that area. And then I'll move the stop loss to break even at 29 cents. And then I'll be in a free trade that already paid me money. And I'll still be able to make more money if it does go up to higher prices. That's usually how I like to trade. Take a little bit of partial profits, move the stop loss to break even. You're in a good trade. But yeah, guys, that's it for now. And then, you know, I'll just have to, on my own time, pay attention to what's going on with Ultima, because that could be a good short. And then even Power could possibly be a good short if we get a trend reversal, a reversal in price here. Let's see, how is it looking on the RSI here? We're not overbought on the 15-minute time frame. 1 hour time frame, you are overbought. 4 hour time frame, you are overbought. Yeah. So what I could do, right? And this is also something you could do here, right? Is I could just do a reversal trade. It's gonna let me do that on the settings here. Partial profit. No, I'm just gonna leave it as is. Leave it as is for now. I'll have to just pay attention to the oscillators and see if I actually want to reverse the trade when it does get up to like 35 cents. If it even does get up to 35 cents. But there you go, Cameron. Are you still in the chat? Because I just went long on Power. Here I am, kind of joining forces here with you. And I just like the fact that, you know, the stop loss, I can keep it relatively tight, but the 21 EMA seems to be protecting us here. As long as we don't go below the 21 EMA, I won't get stopped out of this trade. And this is what it's like playing the trend, being a momentum trader. I'm just playing the momentum on Power right now. Power has the power. But potentially go to higher prices here. I like it, I like it. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this live stream. Come join me on the Meet Damien Discord if you want to continue talking about crypto and stocks here. Let me see if I can pull that up from my my YouTube guys as well. But yeah, we do have a Meet Damien Discord where you guys can ask me. You can pick my brains about trading. We could talk about a stock or crypto that we want to get into. Let me see if I can just change this over for my YouTube guys here. Yeah, there's the Meet Damien Discord there for YouTube. And here we just continue the conversation and look at charts. Come join the Meet Damien Discord and ask me more about your favorite cryptos and stocks. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today. I will see you hopefully same time tomorrow, 12 to 2 p.m. We got off to a late start today. But usually when I do a late start, I let you guys know, like, hey, you know, I'll be going live, you know, at 1 p.m. Eastern time if I don't go live at 12. Okay? But if you want to watch the replay to the video, for my TikTok guys, you come onto the Meet Damien, you can click on this link here, YouTube. You can watch the live stream on the Meet Damien YouTube channel here. Let me see if I can I pull it up here? Let's get to Meet Damien YouTube. Hey, what's going on? What's going on here? But yeah, that's the Meet Damien YouTube channel, where you can see me go live here on YouTube as well, and you can watch the replays of the live streams here. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you tomorrow.